Hi, and welcome to the show. Subscribe at kevinmd.com/podcast. Today, we welcome Sonal Patel. She's a pediatrician and neonatologist. Today's Kevin MD article is Physicians Must Shape AI in Medicine, Not Watch It. Sonal, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited for this conversation.
All right, so let's start by briefly sharing your story, and then we'll talk about why you decided to write this article on Kevin MD.
Yes, actually, my story actually begins a little bit rewinded. I'm married to my college sweetheart, which is very integral to this conversation because he's also a physician. We're raising four kids, and I actually started in the postpartum world where I created a home health clinic about 7 years ago where we bring medical care to the house. And fast forward to where this article came to be is that I was on a podcast and now with a couple of things I think physicians are always battling is the juxtaposition about the wellness culture being $1 billion industry versus the healthcare industry. And we always get, whenever the wellness culture fractures, we are the recipients of that consequence and tragedy. And so I do a lot of podcasts myself, trying to change medical fourth trimester care. I was on a podcast and go find out that individual who is sitting in Silicon Valley, a mom of two, just doing a podcast, had used she used my expertise in shaping her AI.
Hmm.
And it was just like, wait, what are we doing here? And then she was curating that AI with knowledge base from her podcast, where she brings on expertise. And that was very eye opening because, again, we're going to come into this period of time where, I didn't realize the power of social media. I didn't realize influencers, TikTok, all of this stuff. We're always been late to the game. But here we have this, we've learned a lot and we have this tool in front of us
Mhm.
and we can shape it and we are the experts. But if we don't step up into this light of it, it's going to cause a lot of headache from us. So what happened was then I created my own AI. We curated it, we did it. It's called Naya. It goes with my branding. And it is only for the fourth trimester because the other thing is my AI, what it is, I always say, I'm not solving all of pediatrics because that's impossible.
Mhm.
Any physician who practices, there is the actual medicine part of it, and then there's the art of the medicine. That's when we are training and we just know it's not sitting in that algorithm. It's just not. And AI can never capture the art of medicine. It just can't because it's built on algorithms. It just is. So we were like, no, we're going to come ahead and do our AI. So we launched our AI back in September. We had OBGYNs, mental health therapists, all the people that touch the fourth trimester come and test it out. And we saw results that were phenomenal. Up to this point, the conversations that the AI has had, we have saved families $880 in medical care because of the right information that we have provided. And I said, well, listen, like if I'm an expert and I get to control it, and I do get to control it, and we can get dived into how we can control it ourselves. Why can't my other physician friends do it?
Mhm.
Why is it that they are going to build this off of our resources? We can't fight Epic. We can't fight them, right? That's not what we're trying to do. But 80% of medicine is education. And that education is built on the backs of us, the leading experts in whatever aspect that we practice. So that's where the article comes into play.
All right. So, from what I'm hearing, that story of that tech executive in Silicon Valley, they probably took what you said or what you published in the public domain and used what you said to create her own AI tool. And you decided enough of that, and you took control of your own information, your own knowledge, and then create a customized AI. So, in terms of the fourth trimester, so we're going to certainly talk about AI. Just for those who aren't familiar with the fourth trimester, just give us a 30-second blurb about what exactly that is.
Yes, it's actually recognizing medically 3 months after baby is delivered that there's a lot of health issues that affect mom and baby both. And what we do is we separate the care versus treating them as a dyad. So, and there's a lot of economic ramifications for it and all of that stuff too, which is another podcast in itself. But that's exactly what the fourth trimester is. I had a medical student say, She actually was a fifth year surgical resident.
Mhm.
And she goes, I know I've gone to med school, but no one taught us about the fourth trimester. I go, I know, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that's been taught.
Now, you took that next step, of course, and you created your own AI tool. And I talked to a lot of physicians on this podcast. They're very on the vanguard and innovative when it comes to integrating AI and medicine. But as you know, not all physicians are as tech savvy or tech forward as you are. So, what exactly made you take that next step, and how did you find out how to take that next step?
So again, it's my IP, you're my intellectual property. You're going to benefit off of me. I've worked so hard for it, and I was just tired of it, right?
Mhm.
The other thing is that particularly in the fourth trimester, my families get targeted a lot because these families are, searching for answers. They are shoved down materialistic things that do not solve anything. They're spending God's amount of money. And some half of the battle is no, this is actually normal versus no, this is actually abnormal. And you have the right to have all these feelings, but I don't need to give you a product all the time.
Mhm.
So that part of it was that anger that again, now a tech company might use this AI. I mean, my biggest competitor right now is Amazon Baby AI. Amazon's come out and created, and you do not think that they're not going to be pushing products on these families. So there's this anger of my families are being taken advantage of. I also was kind of really afraid of, how to use this as a tool, but it's actually quite easy. And that's the one thing that I really want to stress is that, come on, guys, we've gone through med school, we've gone through residency, we've gone through all this training. If we view this as another tool that TikTok, website
Mhm.
development, blogging, and we take it as approaches as another tool, that fear mongering is already taken away. And we approach it in a way with these intellectual eyes that we all have because we've gone through so much already. We want to learn stuff. We're constantly learning. And that was the thing. It's like, okay, well, let's kind of figure this out. And so in figuring it out, the tools are so in front of us and they're so easy to manipulate that if that barrier of entry is that's the one thing I want to tell my fellow physicians, that barrier of entry is not that big. Like it really isn't. We did go create a company called Pulse Med, and this is where this article actually highlights that as well, because we want to show physicians, and we've already created some AI chatbots of how much control they actually have. My developer, who's actually a medical student, which is kind
Mhm.
of, as I would say, physicians, he had my 11-year-old went to him, and initially it was a 3-hour training that my developer Colton gave, and initially asked my 11-year-old, "Hey, what do you think about AI?" And he goes, "Oh, it's going to rule the world." After this 3-hour training, he comes back and I go, "What do you think about AI?" He goes, "Oh, I'm going to control AI."
Mhm. Mhm. Now,
And
you talk to your other physician colleagues. How are they interacting with AI most commonly? And what are some easy ways for them? And you said there are tools available. What are some easy ways for them to, I guess, metaphorically trademark what they've learned, their experience, their wisdom, and their knowledge?
well, first of all, always do a subscription model because then that your own intellectual property is underneath that firewall. Please don't do it on ChatGPT that's open or anything like that. There are plenty of platforms. Claude, I personally use Magi. I paid $20 a month for it. It's not that impeding financially for it. And literally go on there and explore it. But first, that's a first step. If you can want to start exploring it, please do it with the subscription model because then everything that you are doing is behind a paid part
Mhm.
of it and it doesn't kind of leak out. Have fun with it, play with it if you like, give it prompts, do explore it, and don't be afraid to explore it is the first part of it, as the second piece of it. First paid, second is piece of it. And then if you're really kind of like, okay, I really would like to kind of create something, I'm going to plug my company, come to us because the way that we also differ is there's other companies that are targeting physicians because they know that we have the intellectual property. We're saying no, we're not going to make money off of your intellectual property because, again, just a position, I have colleagues that are still paying student debt.
Mhm.
Like, how ridiculous is that, right? Like, we're still paying student debt. And so the way that we built it is that we're going to build it, give us a flat fee, give us a maintenance fee for it, and whatever you want to do with it, so it's not, so if we can kind of just change it and turn it on its head and say, no, this is how it's supposed to be built. It's basically in like 2 years to how fast it's going. It's like building a website. I mean, AI can build a
Yeah.
website. I actually had to build a website. I stopped hiring people to do it. And that's the part of it. The other part of it, if you really want to explore it, we do have a CME to give you guys for it because the chatbots that we have already created, we're offering CMEs on it. So come explore it that way. Get your feet wet with it. Wait, if you work in a hospital system, I'm sorry, but Epic is huge. They're going to use AI. You've already signed the contract. That's not going to go away aspect of it. They're learning off of what you are
Mhm.
doing. There's whole stuff with all of this. But your education, going back to medicine, right? The core of medicine, 80% is education. And that's what you have as that physician patient relationship. And we should really start investing in that portion of it.
Talk to us about some of the dangers if physicians stay passive in this AI era. And in your article, you did give us a corollary back in 2023 about United Health and Medicare Advantage denial. So, for those who didn't read your article, just tell us about that warning story.
Yeah, the warning story is basically, I mean, I think we know our healthcare system is broken, insurance is there, and insurance is literally using AI for denial. I've had a physician that has created an AI to literally write notes to approve claims. Because at the end of the day, all this burnout, all of these things, this system is getting being built off of our backs.
Mhm.
And that is a cautionary tale, is that if you think that you're just going to passively just fly it by, it's going to overtake you. And it's not really these other administrators and stuff like that. It's actually going to be physicians who have adopted this new tool. They're the ones who is going to overtake you.
Mhm.
The other thing is there's a lot of fear mongering that happens here in the States about AI that, speaking to a lot of thought leaders in this that actually are physicians that go to different health systems, they don't see it in those health systems as much as that we are so suppressed with the fear mongering. So that's the danger. It's the physicians who don't adopt it in a way that they're like, oh, this is just another tool. Just think of it as learning the stethoscope. And I'm really saying it that way, and I don't want to minimize it, but honestly, it really is that simple.
Now, physicians are always worried that AI may take their jobs, but you're saying it's not really the AI themselves, but the physicians who utilize AI, they're going to be the ones who potentially can replace those physicians who don't, right?
Definitely, because AI needs that critical thinking analysis. OpenAI has come out and said, that critical thinking, you have to have that critical thinking in order to use AI because you can't blindly trust it. And that piece of it, we are so trained to go beyond the algorithms. That we are trained as physicians to recognize, like I teach NRP. It's like to medical students, NRP is not training for the 90%. You should know the 90% in your sleep. It's training for that 10%. I know my math doesn't add up, but
Mhm.
it's training for that 1%. That's how our training has been done, is for that 1%. Is that for that inkling in the back of your head. So that critical thinking that we physicians are ingrained in us will not be replaced with AI. It just cannot be replaced with AI because you can't have human beings as a species are so different. We know these as physicians. If you just look at one disease does not present in the same way, it follows a system, but when the system fails that disease processes, that's when we step in. So that's a part of it that I really want physicians to know too. It's just our training is been built for this moment and this critical thinking piece of it, AI always will need. And companies are kind of really asking us to come there, but it's $200 for an hour? Like, come on, people.
Mm.
Like, that's just that they're trying to take advantage of us again.
So, as of now, you're saying that AI cannot replace what we bring, the wisdom, the critical thinking that human physicians can give. But what about in the future? Because AI, as you know, it's iterating so quickly. And I'm sure that you're familiar with that recent paper in Nature that shows that the frontier models like Claude outperform the curated models, right? Is there going to come a point potentially very soon where AI can do a lot of the critical thinking that physicians can do, even not now, but in the near future, perhaps?
I think there's one thing that we keep missing in this conversation. We're human beings. We saw it in COVID, we've seen it in major disasters. This human to human interaction, we that interaction can never be captured with an AI tool in a sense. And so if we use it to really ingrain that patient physician relationship that has been taking a beating, it's been taking a beating with policies, with insurance companies, squeezing us down to 10 minute appointments. That human touch is just so critical that, sure, fine, let AI do all of its things it can do. But at the end of the day, that human touch is what's going to really make sure that we can control the AI aspect of it, right? So for example, my AI keeps learning, right? For my app. But again, they know I'm behind it. They
Mhm.
know that the patients know, the people who use it, they know they can touch me every single time that we have consults, we do this. It's like, "Oh, but I'm trusting Dr. Patel. I'm not trusting the AI."
Mhm.
And that's the change that I would love to see my physicians kind of adopt. And sure, it can improve. It can work on itself and everything like that, but I truly still believe, and I think COVID showed us over and over again, that that human touch, that human community, and maybe this is how it's going to be used for us too, right? It's like now it allows me to spend more time with my patients. That human connection, a machine can never replace.
We're talking to Sonal Patel. She's a pediatrician and neonatologist. Today's Kevin MD article is Physicians Must Shape AI in Medicine, Not Watch It. Sonal, let's end with some of your take home messages that you want to leave with the Kevin MD audience.
Physicians, please do not be afraid of it. Number two, if you're going to dive in it, please do it under a subscribed model so they don't use your IP knowledge for it. And then I'm going to plug in my company, but if you want to get CME, come check us out because we're building models for physicians by physicians. And I think it's a really amazing frontier to be in where we can sit here and say, no, this is our knowledge and we're going to use this as a tool. So
Sonal, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and insight. And thanks again for coming on the show.
thank you so much.